Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome. I am Pastor Guy, and this is Pastor's Corner. For those of you who might be new to the corner, I'm Guy Watley, and welcome to my corner of the internet. It's a place where we get together once a week to encourage the believer on how to be in the world, but not of the world. If you like what you hear, please follow us on Facebook, like us, go to YouTube at Condom Baptist Church, and join our channel and give us a thumbs up there. All of those things help to get the word out in those algorithms, however that works. But we're glad you're here this morning. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about some events or some conversations, things that have been going on in my world the last week that tend to tie together. And I went to a meeting last night that it's a camp meeting for Camp Moro, a Bible camp that we support. We send our kids there, and anyway, they're gearing up for the summer, and they're pretty much sold out already, all the way through high school, which is highly unusual for this early on, and it's been that way in several of the weeks going back a month or two, and it's interesting for me as I see culture kind of playing out before us every day. If you go on YouTube, and I know a lot of you don't, which is fine, but there are many YouTube videos of, say, school board meetings and city council meetings where conservative people are confronting these boards with their policies, with the things that they are pushing upon our children, from the books that are in the library they won't even let them read them at the city council meeting or at the school board meeting because they're so vile. Pornography and explicit. It's incredible, but yet they're on the shelves of the libraries in our schools. And I recognize that we're blessed that we can homeschool our children, and we do. And I know that there are many families who cannot, who don't have the option of private school, who can't choose a Christian school to send their kids to due to financial concerns or just location. There isn't one. I get that. There's a Christian school in Hood River, Oregon, and many, I can't say most, but many of the families that choose to send their kids there are not believers. They choose to send their kids there because they're tired of what they're seeing in the schools, in the public schools. And it's not something that it's crept in, but it's boiling over. People are becoming aware of the COVID thing with the lockdowns and the videos in schools, the conferences, and parents viewing these teachers in action as they indoctrinate their kids. All of that has blown up in the face of the liberals, and it's been put out there, as it were. So when we see all that going on, and we wonder, where's our world going? Where's our America going? What is happening? We can get into a mode where we just see the negative, where we're just like, flush the toilet, we're going down, grab onto the side. But there are glimmers of hope, and one of those would be the Bible camp is booked solid. Their prayer request, if you want to pray for Camp Moro, is for staff, that they have enough staff to minister to the children. Parents are looking for a place to send their kids that isn't a public school, that isn't government run, that they know in their gut in their heart, because God has put it in there, that this should be a safe place. This should be a place where they're not going to be indoctrinated in garbage. And that's one of the reasons why these camps are bursting at the seams. Camp Tadmor is another one here in Oregon that is, from what I understand, is going to be full. And cost of camp keeps going up, so they're finding a way somehow to do these things. And so that's a blessing to see that glimmer of hope, that light that shines through. We see in Proverbs 18, the name of the Lord is a strong tower, right? There's a song that we sing that goes with this. The righteous man runs into it, and he is safe. That's built into our heart, that God is a strong tower, that there is something about religion, about Christianity, about the Bible that brings the idea of safety, of comfort. And no matter what the world tries to do, people are still looking for a way. They're still looking. They have to raise their kids. I don't know anybody, and I would challenge any male that is a father and has an 8-year-old girl to stand there and explain to me why it's okay for a grown man to use the same bathroom at the same time. I mean, that's insanity, and everybody knows it is insanity, and they're pushing back against that. We're seeing the pushback. We're seeing it in women's sports, from golf to tennis to all these professional sports, where a guy says, you know what, I can dominate that sport if I just say I'm a girl. And they are. They're doing it in swimming and elsewhere, and there is pushback. Girls who have spent their whole life training and perfecting their craft, for just some slob guy to show up and beat him because he is bigger, stronger, faster, because that's just the reality. And it's going to collapse around them, and it is. Their arguments don't hold up. Psalm 61, the king says to the Lord, you have been my refuge, a strong tower against the enemy. And so, even though they don't know it, just like, Horizon, one of the things that I have heard, over the years is some of the Horizon kids can be foul-mouthed, can be mean on the court, playing rough. Well, they're probably not believers, and their family has sent them to Horizon. That doesn't mean that believers can't cuss or be rough on the court, but they know better, and hopefully they're being taught better. But when you come from outside of that environment, but your family wants the best for you, you go to a school like Horizon, and then everybody says, well, they're Christians. Yeah, not necessarily. They're a refuge in the midst of darkness, in the midst of hedonism and things I talked about on Sunday. So I was at a ball game, and some of the parents were talking, and they were talking about summer and wanting to send their kids to a camp, to summer camp. Nervous because they're young and those things, but words that kept coming up were safe. They want their kids to be safe. When did we round that corner? Some people would say that cat's been out of the bag a long time ago. And obviously we can't guarantee that one individual is not going to come along and ruin it for everybody. But in a general consensus, parents are looking for safety for their kids from the perversion and the junk that is out there in the world, that is going on. And just when we start to get discouraged, we can see glimmers of light, glimmers of hope out there, that the Lord is still building his church. I will build my church, Christ said. He's going to do it. He doesn't, he's not impacted. He's not slowed down. His schedule doesn't change based on what, Neanderthals in the world are doing and what the ignorant are doing in America, and how Satan has a stranglehold on school boards and city councils, and they're just godless places. That has always gone on, and God's program has always moved forward. The fact that it is out front and in your face now, partially because of COVID, and so we're more aware of it, but then the assignments in the school books that kids are bringing home, and parents are freaking out, going, what the heck is this? There's pushback. And like I said, you go on YouTube, and there's a ton of them out there because they're public meetings, and they're recorded, and they're put on the internet, and people see it, and school boards sit there and hear from parents that are livid and tired of it and want change. And part of that change is conservatives who have dropped the ball and haven't been involved or getting involved in running for school boards and running for city councils, and that's a good thing. You can't take your kid out because of circumstances. You have to stay and fight, and that's what they're doing. And so praise God for that. Praise God for the camps. Pray for the camps, for the Bible camps, the Christian camps this summer, that they would be fully staffed, and that the leadership that is there to staff are godly young people, men and women, two genders, men and women, and they love the Lord, and that they will impart that upon the children. And so that's my prayer. That's my bit glimmer of hope for today is, there is hope out there. People are pushing back. Parents are pushing back, and they're doing it in every way that they can. And sometimes it just takes a while for us to see it, but it is there. God is still moving. God is still building his church, and he hasn't slowed down one bit. And he won't slow down until the house that he is building with many rooms is completely and utterly full. And on that day, judgment will come. Praise God. I'm Pastor Guy. You have a wonderful week in the Lord. This has been Pastor's Corner. It is Wednesday, May 17th. Take care and be blessed.